Hey guys, how's it going? Jordan Locke here. They say that you can tell someone's character by the company that they keep. If that's the case, then UFC President Dana White has a lot of explaining to do. Recently, as you can see here in this video clip, Dana White walked out with a couple of questionable characters. Some of these guys you may know, some of these guys you may not know. So we're going to get into a little bit of history on each one of these guys that Dana White here is walking out with. Some questionable characters to say the least, let's put it that way. Now, walking out with well-known celebrities and people that the public knows, there's really nothing wrong with that, right? It would be an okay situation if these guys were decent human beings. The problem here is that every single one of these characters has an issue, a very blatant, glaring issue. And that issue is that every single one of these guys is a proud racist. And we're going to go over some of their history in a little bit. So listen, if the guy wants to hang out with racists, then that's totally okay. If he doesn't care what that says about his personality, that's 100% fine. The problem here is this guy runs a multi-million-dollar company that benefits from minority employees and also benefits from the revenue that minority fans bring it. So clearly there is a big issue here when the president of a company who benefits from minority employees and minority fans watching his product is seen openly cavorting with proud, virulent racists. Let's talk about each one of these guys so you guys can have a little more background on who these people are. So you see this guy in the background here, his name is Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson here runs a talk show on Fox News. You may have heard of Fox News. They are the race-baiting news website that is constantly pushing fear politics to encourage uneducated people to vote Republican. I'm sure you've heard of Fox News before. His talk show happens to be the talk show that the New York Times rated as the most racist talk show on cable news. Tucker Carlson runs that talk show. Now, this guy, Tucker Carlson, has been known to say all kinds of misogynistic things, racist things, and I'm just going to give you a couple of examples of what Tucker Carlson has said in the past. So in one episode that Tucker Carlson was being interviewed on, he agreed with a radio host that the U.S. president needs to be a racist president who's going to get rid of Mexicans and kill all Muslims. Don't believe me? Here's the audio clip.
You said that?
Basically, we need a racist president. We need to get these Mexicans out of here and the Islam. Let's kill all the Muslims.
Well, I think you're on to something. I mean, not someone who's like a Klansman or anything, but someone who's totally unbound by PC rules. So we'll just say whatever the hell he wants.
As if that wasn't bad enough, after the 2019 Walmart shooting in El Paso, Texas, Tucker Carlson claimed that white supremacy was a hoax. Yes, the same white supremacy that causes organizations like the KKK, the very real KKK, the very real skinheads, the very real Proud Boys, and organizations like that to go around terrorizing and murdering minorities all over the country. This ideology that pushes these very real organizations is just a hoax, according to Tucker Carlson. While the George Floyd protests were going on a few years ago, Tucker Carlson was on Fox News, was on his talk show, telling people who view him, aka Fox News viewers, that black people are coming for you. This guy has a nationally syndicated talk show, and on this talk show, he's telling his viewers that black people are coming for you. Watch this.
This may be a lot of things, this moment we're living through, but it is definitely not about black lives. And remember that when they come for you, and at this rate, they will. Anyone who's ever been subjected to the rage of the mob knows the feeling. It's like being swarmed by hornets. You cannot think clearly. And the temptation is to panic, but you can't panic. You've got to keep your head and tell the truth. Tell the truth. If you show weakness of any kind, they will crush you.
All right, guys, as if this wasn't enough, this same guy, Tucker Carlson, has been known to regularly make misogynistic remarks against women, as well as stating once that trans people are a cancer to this society. Okay, so that's Tucker Carlson. This is one of the guys that Dana White was walking out with here and associating with. The next guy we're going to cover is Kid Rock, and I'm sure a lot of you know Kid Rock, right? He makes great rock music. He's like a country/rock and roll singer. What a lot of people don't know is that Kid Rock actually got his start in rap. Yeah, Kid Rock was a rapper who got his start in rap. His first album, in fact, was a rap album. And Kid Rock got his start by associating with already pretty established black artists who took him under his wing and helped him get a taste of show business, gave him some exposure, some notoriety. So how do you think Kid Rock repaid these black artists who put Kid Rock on the map? Well, Kid Rock went from a rapper to a country singer who went on to go on tour with a country artist who has been called the most racist country artist in America. This artist's name is David Allan Coe. And let's put it this way, this guy has some pretty colorful lyrics in his music. Let's take a listen to some of his lyrics.
David Allan Coe.
How any decent girl could ever a crazy girl working like a nigga from my room and board.
So that is David Allan Coe. These are some of the lyrics in David Allan Coe's songs, right? And David Allan Coe was like a pretty fringe country singer. Let's put it this way. I'm sure people argue with me about whether he was fringe or not. The fact of the matter is he was not very popular at all until he started touring with Kid Rock. So Kid Rock essentially put this extremely racist country singer on the map by giving him a platform by touring with Kid Rock. So this is how Kid Rock turns around and repays the black artists who gave him the popularity in the first place to become a huge star. Kid Rock also regularly uses the racist and traitorous Confederate flag in his shows. Now, whether he's doing this to try to play a role or whether he truly believes in the Confederate flag, you know, the flag that's a symbol of a bunch of racist traitors who tried to betray their country, whether he's doing it to sort of lean into this role or if he actually believes this or not, doesn't even matter. The fact of the matter is he is using this symbol of hate in his concerts. So this guy is no stranger to perpetuating these sort of racist stereotypes. There's actually a lot of other stuff out there on Kid Rock. We're not really going to get super into Kid Rock's, displays of racism or whatever, but there are many videos out on YouTube if you really want to look into Kid Rock. Let's put it this way, his history when it comes to racism is pretty colorful. Let's put it that way. So the third person here in this walkout needs no introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Donald Trump. Moscow Don, the same guy who tweeted as president of the United States, tweeted a video of a bunch of guys in a golf cart yelling white power. Let me repeat that again. He was president of the United States, tweeting on his Twitter a video of a bunch of guys in a golf cart yelling white power. Now, he got so much backlash for doing that after about 3 hours or so, he took the video down. But him taking the video down is not the point. The point is that this guy posted this to his Twitter as he was president. Okay, so there should be no question about whether Donald Trump is a racist person or not. Okay, this is just one example. You guys were here in this country for the last, 6-7 years. You guys know everything that Donald Trump has done to exacerbate and fan racial tensions in this country for his own narcissistic purposes. Don't forget the time when Donald Trump called black and African countries whole countries, as if the states that vote for him, Alabama, Mississippi, Kentucky, as if those states are shining examples of civilized modernism. I mean, this guy, literally, his hypocrisy has no end. It knows no end. The KKK openly endorses Donald Trump. The skinheads openly endorse Donald Trump. Just about every single far-right organization, far-right militia in this country endorses Donald Trump. There's a reason why these guys all endorse Donald Trump, okay? So Donald Trump's track record speaks for itself. We don't really need to talk too much about Donald Trump, all right? Here's another one of Dana White's buddies. His name is Ron DeSantis. You might know him as governor of Florida. Ron DeSantis has been in the news lately for many things that are considered controversial and pretty racist. Probably one of the most significant being trying to rewrite history and paint slavery as something that benefited black people. Trying to erase the fact that this was a huge, traumatic, awful time in this country's history. and then trying to repaint it as though this was somehow a beneficial time period that helped black people. I mean, as disgusting as that sounds, this guy is actually trying to make this a reality and has made it a reality in the Florida school system curriculum. So here's Dana White hanging out with this guy and essentially endorsing this guy. So here's my question for Dana White. Dana White, why are you hanging out with all these racists? What message are you trying to send? See, this is kind of bothersome to me as someone who has spent a lot of time supporting the UFC, right? The UFC has been a pretty awesome organization up until recently, and I've spent a lot of money supporting the UFC, right? So as a black guy, watching the president of the UFC spend so much time associating with all of these proud bigots and racists, it makes me ask questions. Like, I'm starting to wonder, like, what are you doing spending all your time with these racists? And why are these the people that you keep in your personal circle? Like, why are these people the kind of people that you associate with? Is there something about you that you're trying to say without saying, or what exactly is happening here? Yeah, like, essentially what Dana White is doing is he's turning a non-political company that benefits from the work of minority fighters. The UFC has Mexican fighters, black fighters, Asian fighters, fighters from all over the world. He's taking a company that benefits from having all of these minority fighters on its payroll and benefits from the revenue of minorities all over the world supporting him and turning it into a political organization. That's not what we want to see. As UFC fans, we don't want to see you turning this company into a far-right political organization. We're not looking for that. If you want to turn this company into a political organization, then we're going to treat it. We're going to start treating it like a political organization. We're going to pull our revenue. We're not going to spend money on your company. Now, I know that Dana White has Dana White has this mentality of always trying to act like a tough guy, right? Like he's one of the guys who gets in the octagon because he does some steroids and lifts weights. So he's apparently a tough guy also. I mean, there was a point in time where there were memes all over the internet about Dana White acting like he's like some kind of tough guy. He's not a fighter, right? He's a president of a company that hires fighters to fight. He himself is not a fighter. So whenever you see this guy in interviews, he's always like swearing up and down, dropping F-bombs as if dropping F-bombs makes you a tough guy. Like, that's what makes you actually tough. Like, this guy is absolutely ridiculous, right? He puts so much effort into making himself look tough, right? So I'm sure if someone were to tell him, hey, you're turning this company into a political organization, you have lots of fans who bring in lots of revenue from all over the political spectrum. You don't just have far-right extremists watching your show. You're watching the product that your company puts out there. You have people on the left, you have people on the far left, you have people on the moderate right, you have people on the far right, you have all kinds of people watching this show. You really want to sacrifice the revenue of this company just so you can be seen cavorting around with your racist buddies, which already is sort of a problem. Like, why are you hanging out with these people? But even more so, you want to turn this company into a political organization, because if that's what you want to do, then minority fans across the world are going to start treating it as such. And we're going to stop supporting your company. That's really the bottom line. Now, of course, if Dana White were to see this, or see anybody with any type of criticism like this, he's going to do the same thing that Dana White always does, which is pretend to be a tough guy, drop a million F-bombs and talk about how he doesn't care. But let me tell you something, Dana White does care, because when it comes to affecting his revenue, he is going to care. And even if Dana White himself doesn't care, the president of his parent company, Endeavor, Ari Emanuel, who is the CEO of Endeavor, he is going to care. For those of you who don't know who Ari Emanuel is basically Dana White's daddy. He is the CEO of Endeavor, the company that bought the UFC. So Dana White can play the tough guy role, like he doesn't care if his revenues are affected for turning the UFC into a political organization. But I can assure you, once Endeavor sees that their revenues are being affected by his cavorting with all these far-right extremists, Ari Emanuel is going to have some words for Dana White, and you're going to see Dana White backtracking really quick. So this is just it's a strange situation, because here's a guy who runs a company that is so multicultural, so multi-ethnic, right? I mean, how many fighters does this guy have that are Mexican, that are black, that are from Africa, that are from from Europe, from all over the world? How many fans does this guy have across the world in all different kinds of countries, all different ethnicities, right? So it's kind of weird as like a minority fan of the UFC to watch this guy associating with all of these known bigots and racists, right? Like, you're sending a message when you're doing that, and I want to know what message you're trying to send to me. Like, what are you telling me? Are you telling me that, this is what you really want to think? Like, is the mentality that these guys have what you really think, but you're too afraid to say it because your organization, your company depends on minority fighters, fighters from Mexico, black fighters, African fighters, Asian fighters? Your company's financial health depends on the revenue from fans all over the world? Because I can assure you, it's not just far-right extremists that are bringing the UFC revenue. So my words to Dana White would be to be careful with the people that you're associating with, right? Because whether you say anything or not, or whether you're hiding your true feelings or whatever the case is, you're still sending a message by associating with these people and hanging out with these people. So guys, I would love to know what you think about this. What do you think about Dana White spending so much time with all these far-right extremists? Long before this walkout, Dana White has spent a ton of time with Donald Trump. I don't know if they're buddy-buddy, but they spend a lot of time together. Dana White endorsing Ron DeSantis. This is a long time ago. This happened way before the UFC 295 walkout. I'd love to know what people think about this, both on the right side of the political spectrum and the left side of the political spectrum. Let me know what you guys think about this, guys. Leave your comments down below. If you guys enjoy what I'm doing with this channel, please drop a like, drop a subscribe. That would be much appreciated. I will talk to you guys in the next video. Take care.